This is The Litter Box, a Detroit Lions podcast with your hosts, Chet West and Bill Patterson.
Detroit Lions Litter Box listeners. Well, another game played, another game lost. The Lions are now your last place Detroit Lions. In the NFC North, and Chet, yesterday, 6 turnovers for the Lions, 5 by Jared Goff. I definitely put a bow on the season and say it's over. My question to you is, I am ready to move off of Jared Goff and start the rebuild. And here's why. I take my nephews to a Broncos game this time every year. 3 years ago, we were at Ford Field when our Detroit Lions dismantled the Broncos and essentially ended Russell Wilson's career. Last year, I took them and we saw the Joe Burrow-led Bengals in Cincinnati best the Broncos in overtime.
Okay.
And you know where I'm going. Last night, I was in Arrowhead, and we saw a Broncos team that was resilient, not playing their best football, beat the Chiefs in Travis Kelce's last home game. They did all this moving off of a cap hit of $85 million for Russell Wilson at the end of 2023. Going back to my question, I am ready to move off of Jared Goff. What say you?
I think the Russell Wilson-Jared Goff comparison is a little rough. Russell was not in his prime at all when he took the position with the Broncos. And it showed only so much more when he couldn't sustain anything with the Giants. I'm not ready to move on from Jared Goff yet. I think quarterbacks, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Quarterbacks are hard to freaking come by in the NFL. Good quarterbacks. You can ask Viking fans that question right now. I mean,
oh, you mean the Vikings that are going to finish ahead in the division without a quarterback?
Yeah, you can ask
those
them
Vikings?
that. But what we don't have are so many other things. Now you want to get a new quarterback in there. I mean, again, we have so many holes in the boat right now to fill that I would rather restructure Goff's contract, which they will this coming season. He's a $70 million cap hit coming up in 2026. They're going to restructure that deal. Okay. That's going to happen. Along with maybe a couple other deals to go out and get some players to help them win. I get where you're going. I want a little more in the mobility department. I think in modern football, with all these fast edge rushers, these down edge rushers, you need a guy who can run out of the pocket and throw. Our O-line was so bad yesterday, they almost turned Goff into a running quarterback, but that looked ugly a couple times. But I'm not ready to let him go yet. We have other things we need. We have other pieces, bigger pieces. You put a running quarterback back there. I don't know who you're going to go get, but you put one back there, and they're going to get destroyed too with what we have on that offensive line right now. This season disintegrated so quickly because of the fact that we are running. I mean, I'm looking at the guys that got snaps yesterday, and this isn't a meaningful game, and it wasn't much different for the Steelers game. And I can't believe some of the names that I would rattle off that got significant playing time. I mean, it's amazing. It's like a 3 and 4 deep out there on our offense in some spots and in our defense too. But now in our offense. And I think what's taught me is, there's certain things that I missed or I just took for granted in years past that I don't think I'll take for granted going forward.
So my point would be this. I'm not ready to restructure Jared Goff means you're stuck with him for another 4 years.
Yeah.
And I don't want Jared Goff for 4 more years. I've seen enough. You cannot win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff.
Well, it depends on how they do the deal, right? But I'd like him to be creative. But I'm telling you right now, you're going to a new quarterback next season. There's nobody coming out in the draft. And don't even try to sell me on any of them because none of them are good enough. Next year is going to be a terrible year for quarterbacks in the draft. So where are you going to go out and get a quarterback that's going to be better and get us to the promised land next year? Because we need to keep the window open and go next year. Otherwise, you are closing that window if you go to a new QB.
Well, I'm not uncertain that the window's not already closed, is my other point.
I don't buy that. Too much talent left on this roster. I don't buy it. I'm not going down that path.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking you're going to have to tear it down to the studs at some point. And why not move JMO in Gibbs while you can. You've got, let's talk about free agents that we will not have in all likelihood.
Sure.
No Meek the Freak, no Anzalone, no DJ Reader, no Ray Lopez, no Khalif Raymond, and then Glasgow and Decker are both question marks. I don't think Glasgow has anything left in the tank, and I don't know if Decker is going to be healthy enough to play again.
It'll be a very interesting offensive line next season. It's either going to be Glasgow, Decker come back, Ragnow comes back, Glasgow moves back to guard. It's, one of those types of deals where everybody's coming back or nobody's coming back. I don't see Ragnow coming back if Decker and Glasgow are gone. I just don't know if that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you, man. We got a problem on that offensive line, and it isn't going to solve itself tomorrow.
I don't want Frank Ragnow back either. That's not going to get us to the Super Bowl.
Fine. But what do you want to do? There's too many holes to fill right now, and you want to go ditch the quarterback. So now you want to lose for another 2 or 3 seasons. Now you're just going to burn Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell for another couple seasons too.
Because if they follow the Broncos blueprint, they too could be winning their division.
What was what was the Broncos blueprint? They went out and got
what the Broncos always do, which is have a great defense and don't worry about the offense. The Lions have a number 1 offense, and that doesn't get you anywhere.
I don't know. They play in the AFC West too, and until Kansas City decided to completely fold up shop. And Kansas City, now there's a team, if you want to talk about retooling, there's a team that's going to need to retool. Obviously they're going to keep Mahomes around, but they're going to lose Kelsey. They're going to have to do something to add another receiver probably. They're going to have to do something to get a running game going because their running game was terrible. Their offensive line fell apart too. They were the same as us. They went from being an AFC 1 seed to nothing this year, just like we went from the NFC 1 seed to nothing. But we saw this. We saw hints of this at the end of last season. The injuries take too much of a toll. We played. I'm not willing to say scrap it and start over because of this season. We played this season with 3 and 4 deep guys for most of the season, and that's when we really started losing. You can't succeed with that. You have to have starters in there. You have to have your starters in. There's no way you can judge this team right now based on that. Now, Brad Holmes has got to learn getting there is one thing. Staying up there is a whole nother thing. He does have to start building depth. And you've made comments throughout the season about us not being deep enough. We definitely have nothing past our starters. Our 2 deep is super weak, and it shouldn't be that weak. We should have guys that can at least slot in there and look like they can perform. So I agree with you there. He needs to work on depth, but we have questions to answer on that offensive line. It's hard to build an offensive line, but I'm not getting rid of quarterbacks yet. I'm not going down that road yet. If something came up and something was great, I'm not turning it down, but we don't need to replace the QB yet. You listed off all those free agents. I'm pretty sure most of those guys will be gone. Maybe save like one. Maybe somebody will come back. What do you think of guys like, I know we have DJ Reed for another season. Do you feel like he's the answer as our number 1 corner, or do you feel like Terrion Arnold is a number 1 corner? What do you think about on the defensive side of the ball?
You're asking me to pour kerosene on fire. Brad Holmes has missed on that side of the ball as well. Actually, he's missed more on that side than he has on the offensive side.
You're right.
So the 3rd round pick plus, picks that were added to get the pick on Broderick Martin looks terrible now. The pick on Levi Onwuzurike looks worse now, okay? He was hurt in college.
They're not going to be able to make these reaches anymore. They're going to have to start going with the best player available mindset for a lot of these draft picks going forward.
Which is awesome. Marcus Davenport never panned out as a Lion. So, and then he re-signed Derek Barnes or extended Derek Barnes, and that was just a guy. And then, DJ Reed, I agree, probably isn't the number 1, but then the guy you drafted to be the number 1, Terrion Arnold, can't stay on the field. The nickel you drafted, or Enos Rakestraw, was hurt in college, can't stay on the field. So, and Brian Branch will not probably play next year because of the severity of his Achilles tear.
And so in defense of this, we had 10 All-Pros. It's just that 6 of them were injured for most of the season. So that's incredible. We had 5 starters and 5 back and 5 rotation guys.
And I hear your side of the argument. If I can make mine, though.
Yeah.
Brad went all in on re-signing the core, okay? And right now, let's just talk about the defensive side of the ball. your core is Aleem McNeil, Hutch, Barnes, and Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph may not be back. Brian, we don't know that.
Sure.
Barnes is just a guy. And that leaves you McNeil, who hasn't registered a tackle in 4 games, and Hutch. So you're 1 for 4 on that. If Joseph comes back, you're batting 50%. And these are the guys that you wanted to sign. We believe in our guys. These are the guys that are going to win a championship for us.
Sure, but they got hurt.
If I go to the offensive side of the ball, Montgomery, he's a free agent and he's not a free agent, but he'll probably leave. He's disgruntled. JMO is not a difference maker. You extended him. St. Brown, awesome. Yes, he's the heart and soul of the team. Sewell, heart and soul of the team. Great moves there. Jared Goff, we can share our differences on that. But yeah, you need a quarterback to win in this league. All of that being out there, there's no way I want $60 million committed to one player with a roster with this many holes, and that is Jared Goff. I think you could put it this way, Chet, you could win 9 games next year, 10 games, 11 games with a Baker Mayfield, a Geno Smith, a Jacoby Brissett. I don't think that the fallout from Jared Goff to, replacement level quarterbacks.
Assuming those guys are available. Yeah.
So one of them will be, someone will be available. And then you ramp up the defense. You get edge. You get another partner for Hutch at edge. You shore up that defensive tackle. Linebacker, you probably don't touch because it's not that important of a position anyway. And then you commit any other resources to the secondary. That's kind of my rebuild. And
my fear is they're going to sit on the fact that, hey, we've got Glasgow and Ragnow and Decker coming back. We don't need to touch the O-line. And Ratledge won't be a rookie anymore. And, and so you're going to get, and Mahogany is going to be one more year down the road. And we'll have Iguakun back there with some experience now and Awasiko with some experience. My fear is they're going to hold pat on that offensive line and not do something about the guys that are beat up, aging, injured, and maybe they'll go all in on let's get Hutch, another edge rusher, to rush with in tandem. Or let's go sign another cornerback that's available on the market. Guys that are available on the market typically aren't that good when it comes to defensive backs. You got to trade for them. You got to get rid of some stuff for them. Let me ask, I'm going to throw something else at you. Earlier this week, there was a pundit, I can't remember his name now, I don't really care, somebody on one of the shows talking about trading Amon-Ra St. Brown for a haul. Where do you stand on making a crazy deal like that? Like taking Amon-Ra and trading him for a haul, or taking JMO, I don't know if you can get rid of JMO based on his contract, for a haul, or Gibbs even, and trading him for a haul. Do you think trading any one of those position guys? Because they're the guys who are going to get you something. I don't know how much Goff's going to get you. You know what I mean?
I just mentioned 2 of them. No, I'm saying you cut.
You want to trade any of these guys?
No, you cut your losses with Goff, and I would trade all of them. The only untradeable guys, I think there's 3 untradeable Lions right now.
Okay, who are they?
St. Brown.
Okay.
Sewell.
Okay.
And then the organization says Hutch. I don't know that I say Hutch. Outside of that, I think anybody could go on the block.
So St. Brown, Sewell, and Hutch are your untouchables.
If you could get that much for St. Brown, I didn't read this article, so I don't know what the haul is.
Yeah. They
need more than 7 picks next year, and they need significant free agent help, and they're going to have to shop a la Detroit Tigers Scott Harrison, the bargain bid on this.
Yeah. But again, your picks aren't going to get you there. I mean, your draft picks are great. One of those guys might be somebody who produces in year 1, maybe 2 of those guys. But just because you have 7 picks, you're not going to get 7 productive players out of that. You're going to get 2 maybe. And so it's going to have to be in trades. You're going to need veterans. So it's going to have to be in trades. You're going to have to be very aggressive in free agency. I don't know if we have the cap space for that. I mean, we're in a quandary right now. I don't even know that tearing down is feasible, because they're going to have to keep pieces because they aren't going to be able to replace them with anything. And I don't know that they're going to get trade value in trade for some of these guys at this point in time. So there's a lot of question marks around how are they going to figure this out. And I think they are going to lean on we're going to get these offensive linemen back. Let's not dwell on the line right now, which I think the offensive line is the single most important part of this team.
It is the single most important part.
There is nothing else that really should be. I can go without another edge rusher if we can shore up that offensive line. I definitely could, but I just don't. It's also very difficult. It's hard to get offensive linemen who are accomplished, who are good offensive linemen. So we'll see what happens with that. Do you have any thoughts on, I was reading the Free Press this morning. They were talking about Morton and his offensive game plan coming into the season and the difference between he and Ben Johnson and what they do differently. And Morton was going for these explosives, these deep plays down the field. Those plays require you to hold on to the football longer, and they require a deeper drop back. Do you think Goff, in Ben Johnson's offense, it was two-step drop fire? It was a very quick, everything was simple. You guys ran the same routes. They just moved around into different places and ran those routes. It was a very simple offense, and Goff was able to hit guys left and right, and with quick passes, and then they made a lot out of them with their legs. Do you think Morton's scheme kind of ruined things from the word go? Do you think it complicated things unnecessarily?
It definitely complicated things, and the offense will be better next year, unless they run back, the Veterans Association or administration for offensive line. But if they put some effort into that with depending who the coordinator hire is, and it can't be Johnny Moe Part 2, you got to figure that's an upgrade. And we've already touched on that on other pods.
I think there's some scheme blocking too in Johnny Moe's offense that just wasn't great. Just scheme was bad. I mean,
did he overrule Hank Fraley, do you think, this year?
I don't know. That's a good question. Or if one of them didn't jive with the other, I'm not sure. I mean, again, you're judging coaches, and you can do the same thing with Kelvin Shepard, and I know you have questions about him too. You're judging coaches on coaching guys who are third and fourth stringers or practice squad guys trying to come in and play. That's very difficult to do.
Kelvin Shepard's only doing that. He had his linebacker. His front seven's been healthy all year.
He did have his front seven. His defensive backfield was pretty beat up. And he was missing a D tackle here or there. Yeah.
He's had Reed and Rock Yassin. So really he's only missing his safety.
But Rock Yassin's not a starter in the league.
Understood.
And he was
we don't know if Enos Rakestraw is.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to give Kelvin Shepard a total pass on this.
No. I won't give him a total pass, but
if the offensive coordinators have more importance, but obviously I'm talking about making bigger wholesale changes, because I personally think that Rod Wood and Sheila will not stand for this another year. They've tasted success. They know what it's like to have a wait list now for season tickets and be able to jack up prices. Brad and MCDC are going to be coaching and managing for their jobs next year.
I do feel like that's healthy though, Bill. We all came in with pretty good ego this year, right? Everybody was pretty high on themselves. And Brad hasn't had to do, he got everything up there to where it's a competitive team, but staying up there seems to be the problem, keeping them up there year in, year out. I mean, we have only had one bad now. You had two great seasons, one bad season. Ending of last season wasn't exceptional, but whatever. I think overall on the season, it was good. I think getting there, he now needs to show that he can build the depth and go out and get those pieces and be aggressive. Can he do that? Can he be aggressive? Or is he going to keep trying to be the smart guy in the room and outthink everybody? Trying to do the impossible.
We will see.
That scares the living daylights out of me if he keeps trying to do that. I just don't see success.
So listeners, we're going to wrap it here and let you know that Merry Christmas again. Sorry for this Boxing Day episode where we're putting nothing but coal in your stocking.
Just a cathartic. This is cathartic for us. We have to get this out.
That's not Chet and I. That's the Lions deciding to be beaten by a backup third string quarterback. And
we all need to express ourselves a little.
51 yards and beat the Lions.
6 turnovers will do that to you.
I know. Right?
6 turnovers.
We'll expect a Bears preview and much more jovial times upcoming.
Yeah, let's go take a breath.
Thank you, loyal Lions Litterbox listeners. Go Honolulu Blue and Silver.
Go Lions.